Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pitch, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. We're less than 24 hours away from an Amazon special, the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins in South Florida. We're breaking it down. We'll have a bunch of picks and props for you, but we've got a full slate of Major League Baseball games going on as we speak, and quite a few of them are actually pretty important as far as the wild card and division races are concerned, including San Diego and Seattle. It's been a roller coaster season for the Seattle Mariners. They were once up by like 10 games in the American League West. Now they find themselves battling in the wild card race right now. Not out of it, but they need to start winning baseball games. We're running out of racetrack as far as the regular season is concerned. It's a scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Seattle just let off the inning with a double. So they got a runner on second base right now with nobody out in the bottom of the second inning against San Diego. Los Angeles and Chicago. The Cubs looking for the sweep against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And speaking of teams that are playing critical baseball games, listen, the Dodgers, the D-backs are winning a lot, but the Dodgers are going to win a division. Yet the Dodgers don't want to lose every game. They got the Braves and Marlins coming up. But it's a massive game for the Cubs. The Cubs are sort of hanging around still right now. These would be big wins against the Los Angeles Dodgers. As far as this game is concerned, tonight, we did take the Dodgers to avoid this sweep. The total is 9. And I'm not a big over-better. You know, you need a lot of things to go your way. But I don't know. Is this one of these instances when you have two pitchers on the hill that are expected to get lit up? And they don't, but Bobby Miller generally does give up runs. He's kind of an innings eater for the Dodgers. They'll leave him out there, right? All right, kid, you gave up 5 runs. We're leaving you out there. His ERA is over 7. He's not a terrible pitcher, but he's having a rough time. He's not having a great. Earlier in the season, he was better, and he's been getting hit pretty hard. And you've got Wicks on the other side here. You got to believe the Dodgers are going to get to him as well. That's why the total is 9. So we're all in on this baseball game. We're on the Dodgers to win the game, minus 165. We're on the over 9 runs in this game. And we sprayed the board with the Dodger props. And they were plus money as well. We're getting Mookie bets over 1.5 total bases at like plus 135. Okay. right? Freddie Freeman is also like plus 130, plus 135 over 1.5 total bases. Shohei Ohtani is plus 100 over 1.5 total bases. So we're getting plus money across the board with the big three. We can't play everybody, you know, Hernandez and Smith and everybody, but I think the Dodgers bats will come alive tonight. I've been very good at picking my spots when Ohtani's going to hit a home run. In fact, I think it's been like 3 times in a row. I said it feels like an Ohtani night tonight. And I don't do it every night, but it feels like an Ohtani home run night tonight. It's only plus 260, though. Not a ton of value. I also played Mookie Betts to hit a home run at plus 400. Oftentimes, I think about Ohtani, and then Betts hits a home run. I'm like, man, Betts was like big money, too, and I didn't get in on it. So I don't want to miss out on this. Like I said, I'm expecting it to be run, so I'm expecting Betts, Ohtani, Freeman to get some hits tonight. Somebody goes deep. And we cash some tickets at plus money. So countdown to kickoff is on Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. A very one-sided rivalry over the years. Josh Allen has been absolutely dominant against the Dolphins. 11-1 in the last 12 games. And in fact, he's thrown for 2 or more touchdown passes in all 12 of those football games. The one game that they lost was a couple of years ago when it was viciously hot out, but the Bills have owned Tua. They've owned the Dolphins. They've owned McDaniel for the most part. Yet McDaniel and the Dolphins are lethal, and they don't lose in September at home. All right? They don't lose like in the first 3 weeks of the season. McDaniel's got a great record in the month of September. He's never lost. Like the Dolphins are always strong out of the gate. So it's a big-time division game. And for the record, it is on Amazon tomorrow night. So we got our first Amazon Thursday night game of the week. Taron Johnson, Buffalo Bill, defensive back. He's going to be out for this football game. And the Bills secondary already has question marks coming into the season. And it's not ideal that they lost one of their starters in the first game of the season. Raheem Mostert will not play for the Miami Dolphins, but there was a lot of talk about Devon Achane and his status. From practice today, he didn't seem to be all that limited. He didn't have one of those practice red jerseys on or anything like that. So it appears as if though he will actually play in this game. Brady Cannon's going to step up and in. We got Paul Bovie. We got Ian Cameron, the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. So we got a lot of football picks on the show tonight. We'll get into some college football as well. We'll go over the survivor situation of the week in which, you know, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a super popular pick to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, but the Ravens have winnable games down the road as well, and it's something that you have to consider, right? It's like a double-edged sword. You don't want to get cocky worrying about, like, saving a team for Week 12 if you get eliminated in Week 2, but at the same point in time, you also can't just blindly start, like, betting and taking teams in Survivor early without thinking about the ramifications a little bit later on down the road. Interesting spot with the Chargers, right? Chargers and Panthers. You figure, all right, the Panthers are terrible, but are you willing to risk it all on the Chargers to win on the road? These are the type of questions that we'll ask Brady Cannon tonight, as of course he hosts a contest-specific show. So we'll get into that. We'll get into all the rest of the National Football League games as well. College football. Interesting slate this week. We got a big-time game tomorrow night in a National Football League, but this is a fun college football game tomorrow night. Kenny's got this program buzzing right now. The Bobcats, Texas State, coming off a rout over UTSA, hosting Arizona State. Arizona State, you know, they won 3 games last year. They've exceeded expectations already, and they've looked pretty good. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I talked about this total last night. It was 59. Now it's 60. By kickoff tomorrow night, this thing's probably going to be 62. Nobody's going to be betting the under of an Arizona State, Texas State game with the explosive offense that Texas State has and the shaky defense that Texas State has as well. So if you like the over this game, I would recommend jumping in and getting in on it now because I think the number will climb. Friday night, we got some cool games on tap as well with UNLV and Kansas. Pretty crazy when you talk about, well, they might be able to go to the playoffs, you're not thinking of the UNLV Running Rebel football program, but somebody's got to occupy that 12th spot, right? And the Mountain West winner is going to have a legitimate chance of doing it If Boise State runs the table from here on out, they're going to get in. That was not a bad loss that they had against the Ducks. They lost by 3 points as 19-point underdogs. They weren't supposed to win the football game. They came close to winning the game, and the committee's going to remember that. I think Liberty is already a scratch. We've talked a lot about Liberty. We went big on their over win total, 10.5, and Liberty did get the W this past Saturday against New Mexico State, but it wasn't pretty. They needed like a couple of drives in the fourth quarter. It was like they needed to get a stop and score, and they did it. They pulled it off, and they remain undefeated, but they have the 134th easiest schedule out of 134 Division I teams. That's just not going to do it with the committee unless you like murder teams by 50 every week. You can't be coming back when you're 22-point favorites. But as we've seen, man, it's been a crazy start to the college football season already, and I think this theme is going to continue. We have an early rare rivalry week this week. We got the Apple Cup, Washington and Washington State. We got Colorado and Colorado State playing. We have the Civil War with the Ducks and the Beavers this early in the season. So it's a unique sort of Saturday, this Saturday on the college football gridiron. We'll go over it. You know, our boy Babano, Ian Cameron will be locked and loaded and ready to go. We'll also get into the CFL. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. Countdown to kickoff is on. This is Sports Rage. Bring it.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. We've got a lot of baseball going on here in the late night hours, including Brady Cannon, San Francisco Giants, Cam Stewart in the house. And we talked a lot about the City Connect jerseys, the San Francisco Giants City Connect jerseys over the years, the last 2 years, I guess it's been. And, you know, people were critical of the jerseys, you know, oh, they're horrendous and stuff. As a Dodger fan, I hated to admit I actually liked them. I thought it was cool with the bridge and the clouds and stuff, but they're putting them to rest. So it's an end of an era But Brady, something that was very interesting about it, the Giant players were aware of it as well. They always won when they wore those City Connect jerseys, and they wore them on Tuesday night home games. So they've announced that they're retiring this jersey, that there'll be a new City Connect jersey next year. And it was one of the weirdest trends ever, Brady, that I actually did jump in on, and I would just blindly bet the San Francisco Giants every Tuesday home game. 29-15, the final record in the City Connect jerseys. Pretty impressive trend right there, 29-15.
Yeah, and maybe when it starts being, that prolific that the players kind of buy in, they're like, oh, we're wearing these again. We've had maybe it's a little bit of a mental, thing in the players' minds there that something gets them jacked up about wearing these jerseys. Maybe you can find a little bit of an angle there. But apropos that they're shutting them down here, Gabe, because the Giants might as well just about shut down their season here. They've been done for a few weeks. That reminds me, a Tuesday night home game or whatever, when we wear these jerseys. Back in the day when I used to attend games at Candlestick Park, if you went to a game during the week that went to extra innings and you stayed for the entire time, on the way out they gave you a pin that said you came.
Yeah. I know about that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Oh, it was awesome.
The real
because,
fans.
You didn't want the real fans, and nobody would stay that late because it got cold at Candlestick. A random Wednesday and
they're big collectibles. Those pins. They're big collectibles.
Yep, I still have one.
That's why I know about them.
It has a cool SF on it with like a little snow cap on the S.
That's great.
Yeah.
Were you there too? Are you old enough that like it was AstroTurf?
Gosh, I probably went to some of those games. Yeah.
I see the old footage. Candlestick originally was AstroTurf, and it's just bizarre to see it. You know what I mean?
I was at one of the first games.
It was in a Dirty Harry movie.
Was Willie Putney's last game at home. So that was probably, I want to say, early 80s, late 70s, something like that. I remember he hit a double off the wall in his last game at home for the San Francisco Giants, old Willie Mack. So I think I recall it being AstroTurf in my early days of being a fan. I don't remember it being that way for the Niners.
Brady Cannon. No, I mean, neither do I. But you know what? The Niners didn't play there before, right? So I guess they didn't.
They've been there a long time, though. They used to be at Kezar Stadium, which is right near the Haight-Ashbury. But I think they moved over from Kezar, I want to say in the mid-'60s or something like that.
Brady Cannon in the house with us. We got baseball going on. Before we get into the football, Cam, any late-night baseball games for you? Who you on? You got San Diego, Seattle, San Francisco, Milwaukee, and Chicago and L.A.
I'm a little bit gun-shy, Gabe. I had money on the Jays under, and we had a 1-0 lead with a no-hitter going into the ninth, and I lost the game. There were 7 runs in the ninth. I was just sitting there doing coast-to-coast with Carver, almost crying. I'm like, what happened here? Bowden almost had a no-hitter. Then they lose the game 6-2. I got golf picks and stuff like that right now. I'm rattled. I'm on the Kansas City Royals. That's one game I got. They're tied with the Yankees right now, 3-3, and that's about it. That's all I played in baseball after that Jays debacle today. Really pissed me off.
Bowden Francis becomes just the 4th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to lose 2 no-hitters in the 9th inning. And what's amazing, he's done it in 2 of his last 4 starts, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's just sort of unheard of. And today, the Blue Jays, the Mets became the first team ever in Major League Baseball history to get no hit through 8 innings and score 6 or more runs. So, in other words, the Blue Jays are the first team in Major League Baseball history to have a no-hitter going and give up 6 runs in the 9th inning. Well, that's baseball. So, things that's baseball. Like, there's so many different scenarios. That's what makes it a beautiful sport. All right, so speaking of sport, the Circa Survivor is it's a blood sport. That's what that is. It's like combat sports, like MMA. Survivors, 34% went down with the Cincinnati Bengals last week. Brady, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, bittersweet because I was one of them, but we have 3 entries as a part of our Las Vegas football contest show. Our team has 3 entries. We were on the Seattle Seahawks and we were on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but we did have 1 entry on the Bengals. And, hindsight's 2020. We did kind of go back and forth if we wanted the Bills or the Bengals, and we decided not to mess with it. We like the Cardinals against the spread, which worked for us. So it's hard to kind of thread the needle like that if you like the opposition to cover the number, but you want to bet the favorite to just win the game. That's a tough spot. So we rolled the dice, went with the Bengals, obviously got burned there. But, is there really a lot of difference between having 3 entries going up against 14,000 plus people or having 2 entries now going up against 8,700 people? So
I only have 1. I wish I had 2. It was my big regret. I really should have done 2 just to have the option.
Were you on the Bengals?
No, I was not. I was on the Buffalo Bills.
Good for you. Nice pick.
It was a sweat job early. I was sitting here thinking to myself, God, I should have taken the Saints. But it was easy to say because they were winning 27-0.
Yes,
right?
yes,
I was like, God, I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Bills.
Well think about this, too. Gabe, Seattle was down early, too. People were sweating out that Seahawks game with the 2 safeties. Like,
that was 24% of the people.
Yeah.
I was pulling. Like I said, I like the Seahawks, but I wanted them to lose. I was like, man, this would be great if we could knock out another 24%. That's 58% of the contest gone. Right? Like I was pulling for Denver.
You've got about 40% out now, when you add up everybody that was eliminated. So, I mean, if you're still live with 1, 2, 3, 10 entries, whatever it is, you're feeling pretty good after week 1.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, Brady. So this week, I guess the new Cincinnati game, in which it's going to be the most popular one, will be the Baltimore Ravens. I brought it up earlier, but Baltimore play the Giants, bro. Baltimore have some winnable games down the road. And Baltimore also play in some of those holiday games, too. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're going to get some golf picks, but we're just talking about this week's survivor options. And the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a big one. Obviously, nearly 10-point favorites against the Las Vegas Raiders. You have the Dallas Cowboys at home against the New Orleans Saints, which I think people were surprised how good the Saints looked last week. And they might be able to play with the Dallas Cowboys. They do have good skill position players. It's early in the season, not depleted with injuries yet, the Saints. The Houston Texans against the Chicago Bears, Brady, is an intriguing one that catches my eye as well that I'm considering. It's on the table, Brady. What do you think about that one on Sunday night?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Texans are the much better team. I was on the Titans last week. That was an awful beat. They didn't score a single point in the second half. All I needed was a field goal, and I would have covered that game. But you wonder about the Bears. Does that comeback inspire them? Now, can they beat the Texans outright on the road? I doubt it. The Texans were in an awful spot last week. We were on the Colts in the contest last week, catching 2.5, getting 3, and both were winners. So that was a great spot for the Indianapolis Colts last week. But
I was on Houston in the contest, minus the 2.5. I'm still upset about it.
It's a smart number to lay.
I played the numbers, Brady, last week. I was, you know what I mean?
That's a smart thing to do.
Like Tampa was up to 4, whatever. Tampa was 3. I was on the Bucs, right? But I saw the 2.5, and I thought, and I knew deep inside they were going to win by 2. The way it set up to it was 9. I'm like, oh dear God, I can't believe this is going to happen.
How smart are we, Gabe? In the contest, we played a dog catching 2.5 and a favorite laying 3.5. And they both worked. You do that the rest of your life, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. But that happened to work in week 1. So, but the Texans, the fact that they went into that awful situation, home dog, week 1, yada, 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 and won, I think that says a lot about that team. So, yeah, I would expect them to beat the Bears. I don't know if they'll cover the 6, and we've already seen it tick down to 5.5 in some spots. I don't know if we know about this Bears team just yet.
What do you think about the Lions this week? That line's up to 7.5. Or do you
as a survivor pick?
Yes.
Well, when I mapped out my 3 entries,
I think Tampa can play with them, Cam. I actually like Tampa to cover the spread.
I made the number 4. I was surprised to see it come out at 7. This is a playoff revenge game. I believe Winfield is possibly injured in the secondary. And let's also remember, Jared Goff went off. He passed for like 500 yards. He lit them up through the air, did Jared Goff against that Tampa Bay defense. They played him I want to say 2 or 3 times in the last couple seasons. And I don't think Jared Goff has lost to him yet. But
Tampa's really beat up. Things to think about. That line's 7.5. I would not say that unless that. Gabe, I agree with you. When healthy, but they can have major guys out in their defense. I'm talking multiple good players.
Let's also realize
Detroit though will not be able to stop.
Last week. The Commanders aren't that good, and they'll make anybody look good. Detroit.
That's true.
This is a huge step up in class for Tampa Bay. Do I want to lay 7 or 7.5? No, but they were actually one of the teams I had mapped out in my survivor picks. I had Detroit on 1 and the Ravens on 2.
Brady Cannon kicking it with us, Cam Stewart in the house. The Chargers are laying 6 right now, Brady. There was sort of a popular thought coming into this, and like I said, I wish I had multiple teams to play multiple strategies with, but to pick on the Panthers, right? The thought was, people were going to pick on the Patriots. All right, you got burnt with that. And I like your quick thought on that Seattle game, actually, against them, but the Panthers, might be one of the worst teams in the history of the National Football League. They look bad. They won 2 games last year. They start the season off the way that they did. Are the Chargers in consideration for you on one of your teams at all?
Not in the least. I actually liked them last week, and I got talked out of it. And I understand that the Raiders, were supposed to have a pretty good defense, and they weren't bad at all. But they lost the game in the end. I don't think the Chargers were all that impressive. And no, I certainly don't want to lay 6 points with them on the road. And are you in week 2? Are you really going to start playing road favorites in Survivor? Are you that desperate? No. And this is, it's built into the line there. Everybody saw how god-awful the Panthers looked last week. So it's built into the line. The general public is going to, run to the window to bet the Chargers here. I think the wise guys will be on the Panthers. I think I've already seen some 5.5s pop in the market. So no, if anything, I'm going to play the Panthers plus the points. But at this point, I don't have anything to do with that game.
All right, we're coming up against it. On the other side, we'll get Brady's thoughts on the Thursday nighters, the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. And let's talk Procore. We'll get hardcore.
there is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. All right, we got to get to some golf. We got the Procore. There's a live in Chicago, and the President's Cup is rapidly approaching. I see that the USA minus 250 favorites in that. So we've got time to get to that. But just quickly, as far as the Thursday nighter, Brady, is concerned, interesting matchup as far as it's like the scales, scale of justice, so to speak. The Buffalo Bills have owned them, and then you got the McDaniel thing in which he never loses in the month of September, right? But Josh Allen, 11-1, Brady, the last 12 games against the Miami Dolphins. He's thrown for 2 or more touchdown passes in every one of those football games as well. Allen's touchdown prop right now over 1.5 is plus 100 too, guys. What do you think about this Thursday nighter, Brady?
I'm not going to play it, Gabe. I made the number 3, and I gave Miami a little extra bump there because of the weather in September. Hard to play in South Florida, especially a team coming from Western New York. And I know they've had success, but when they have lost to the Dolphins, it's been in Miami. I made the number 3. It opened 1.5. We've seen it bump to 2.5. Now you've got Achane. You wonder if he's going to be able to play. The Miami offense was not good against Jacksonville. The defense was pretty darn solid. The defense was awful for Buffalo. The offense was good. These are probably the 2 most injured teams in football right now. I don't know what to do with
and
this
Taron
thing.
Johnson's out in the backfield for the Buffalo Bills. They've lost another DB, Brady, at week 1.
Right, another DB it's amazing. They are just decimated in the defensive secondary. So, no, I really don't want to do anything with this game. I would probably do the same thing like I did with last Thursday and Friday. I didn't play the Chiefs and I didn't play the Eagles, but I like the number at less than a field goal, and I kind of feel the same way here with the Dolphins. But I don't even feel as strongly as I did last week. I'm going to stay away from this one, guys.
All right, Procore. The Procore Championship. Let's get into this. We'll get Brady and Cam's picks. Brady, who do you like in the Procore Championship?
I just took some outright stabs, guys that have never won on tour before. I hit Sahith Theegala here last year for his first PGA Tour victory. So I kind of went along the same lines. Maverick McNeely, California kid, never won before. I went with him at 22. JJ Spawn, another California kid who's had success here, got him at 34. Eric Cole, again, trying to get his first PGA Tour victory. Finished 4th here last year, got him at 43. He's done well at Pebble Beach, similar green surfaces. And then I took a flyer with Chan Kim, who's played for a long time, has 8 wins on the Japan Tour, a couple of wins on the Korn Ferry Tour, and really starting to play very, very well in what is his rookie season on the PGA Tour. I think he's going to win sometime soon. And then another rookie who's got great numbers and great stats is Jacob Bridgman. So some pretty random guys here, except for maybe McNeely and Cole. But, I think with this type of field, you might get a very random result.
You know who my pick is going to be? Real dark horse. Mike Weir. He's going to shock the world the week before the President's Cup.
He's going to make himself
I'm kidding. It's just weird he's playing. I'm like, Mike Weir's playing.
It is totally weird. I couldn't believe I saw him on the field. I thought it was a joke.
I'm like Mike Weir. I see Mike Weir. A lot of time President's Cup, Mike Weir, and they're like, "Oh, Mike Weir, yeah, he's don't think he won't be thinking about the team while he plays this week." I'm like, "Plays this week? What the hell are you talking about? What do you mean he's playing? It's not the Masters. Like I know he got a lifetime invite or whatever. Like, yeah, he's playing Cam this week. But I like what they're saying. He's playing, and he's going to keep his eye on all Connors and Pendrith and everything, and who's putting well, who's driving well. Yep. He's a complete nut job of preparation, Mike Weir. Like he's like obsessive compulsive type of guy. Like he thinks about everything all the time. And I saw them saying he's going to be there. He wants to be there to be around the guys and soak it in and see how they're playing. This is pretty hardcore stuff.
Well, look, take a look at it, right? So Corey Connors is on the team there, and you also have Minwoo Lee, right, Brady? Like he's a guy that Mike Weir will keep his eye on. So there's some internationals that need to be looked at. And let me just say one thing about this course, and Brady can attest to this. Stuart Sink, like this guy's top 5 machine on the senior tour. Like I'm actually taking a stab at him at like 250 to 1 and stuff like that, Brady. You don't need to hit the ball here. It's in Napa. You know what I mean? Elevation. And take a look at guys who do well. Tagala did it well because he didn't spray the ball and he hits it big. But Cole was amazing in the silly season. He started off with a 4th. Some small ball hitters can do well here too. It's all about putting. And I have 2 of your picks too, Brady. I'm on old Cole as well. I think it's a breakout time for him, and I love Spawn. Gabe, another thing, California guys for California courses in Napa, wine country, win the barrel. So here's what I got. Brady and I have a couple of the same picks here. I'm going with Spawn as well. I think J.J. Spawn is a great price at 33. Tom Hoagie Sandwich, watch out for him. Hoagie's a birdie machine. Brendan Todd at 45. Eric Cole, we talked about. I got a great number, Brady, at 50. He's been bet down. The Filipino sensation, Rico Hoey, I think he checks a lot of boxes this week. Andrew Putnam, he hits it nice and straight. Get that putter going. And I can't believe S.H. Kim is 175 to 1. I thought he'd be like 100. This guy's actually got game, and I think he checks a lot of boxes at this course, buddy. Let's get it done, Brady. Let's hopefully Spawn or Cole for us. We can win together.
That would be very nice.
Let me ask you guys something. What the hell happened to Danny Willett's game? Like, how was Camilo Vegas and Villegas and Danny Willett? They're the same odds as Mike Weir.
I know.
They're the same odds as Mike Weir.
Why would happen at this tournament?
Gabe, I would take Mike Weir in a matchup bet over them. I would take Mike Weir in a matchup bet. If you gave me plus money on Mike Weir, I hate to say this stuff, but Danny Willett's like, he's fallen off the radar. Camilo Villegas, last time I saw him, Brady, did he not shoot at 82? I know he's had a lot. I feel bad for Camilo with his child and all the things that he's been through in his life, but he's lost his golf game too, Gabe. He played well for a couple tournaments, and then it just went south. So Mike Weir
I've never heard
around.
I never heard of some of the guys around Mike Weir's name here. Like, I've never heard of Philip Knowles. I don't know who Philip Knowles is.
I don't think I have either. No,
Knowles, he's journeyman. Yeah.
Ryan Brem
is, but nobody else does.
Ryan Brem.
Yeah,
Ryan Brem.
Yeah, I know
he's a jobber. Yeah.
John
journeyman guys.
Yeah, but
these guys are trying to keep their job. You know, this is the FedEx Cup Fall Series. You got to get into the top 125 in the FedEx Cup points to have a job in 2025. Cam, I want to ask you a question about the President's Cup. Do you think that price, first of all, are you going to go? And I thought that price was pretty tough to find an edge. I kind of wanted to bet Canada, but I was like, damn, minus 250 seems kind of cheap on the U.S. I couldn't really get there either way.
I like how you call them Team Canada because there's 3 of them.
Yeah, right. Well, he's like 3 of them
Freudian slip there. For a Freudian slip. But
they're in Canada, weird. You know what I mean.
I think Canada has a huge advantage, and Gabe knows this golf course being from the Montreal area. I will say this. When it comes to ball striking, I bet Canada all day. But I look at these guys and go, what's Connor's Achilles heel? Putting. What is Pendry? All these guys, their weakness is putting. Which guy on the international team is going to step up and hit putts? That's the whole problem. And I look at the Americans, great putter, great putter, great putter. Corey Connors can hit irons with anybody. He's like next to Scheffler. He's one of the best.
But you
in the
know
world.
this course, Cam. The Americans better. One thing here, Brady. You better keep the ball on the fairway, bro.
Yeah.
Like the rough here. I remember Tiger Woods played here years ago in Montreal when I was on the radio there, and he said, "He goes, this is the toughest course I've ever played."
Yep.
Point blank. He goes, that rough, man. And he goes, I wish it was always like this on the tour. He goes, super challenging. There's something about Montreal. It's like Phil Ivey did that 7 casinos in 7 days. The only casino beat him was Montreal. He walked out. He's like, F these people, Lotto Quebec, bunch of jerks. Screw me up. Like,
people don't know.
Welcome to Quebec, kid.
It's weird. Gabe knows he's been there. It's true. And Canada, they have an advantage. It's a very mystical place, old school, very
Weir's bigging it up, too.
Yes.
Weir's telling, if you're a Montreal Canadian fan, we want you down here, chanting like it's a hockey game. He's really pushing for that wild atmosphere there. But I saw today, Brady and Cam, they're already starting to let the rough go a little bit. They're starting to evil up the golf course now that the tournament's coming.
Well, that's the only way Canada. I think that's a great move for the internationals. They need because their guys can hit it straight. They need crazy rough, and these guys get in trouble. That's how they're going to hang in there.
The Royal Montreal Golf Club. I've never played there.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's do this thing. Well, we told you off the top, feels like another Ohtani night, and it was another Ohtani night. Ohtani hits a home run. We already cashed the ticket. It was almost to be expected tonight. It was only plus 260. Wicks is not a very good pitcher. He's been lit up. This total, we talked about the total at 9, and I don't really like betting overs, but this just had the feel of the Dodgers. As I said off the top of the show, I expected Dodgers to put up a bunch of runs. Ironically enough, though, So Ohtani gets it done. So we hit the Ohtani home run. We win the over 1.5 total bases with Ohtani with one at bat. But ironically enough, Betts and Freeman both did not even get a hit. And the Dodgers have 5 runs somehow. Max Muncy's smoking hot. And you know what I said, too, off the top was, oh, man, Will Smith. Freaking Will Smith hit a home run. Max Muncy's hit a home run. And Shohei Ohtani has hit a home run. Wow. Muncy's just been going deep a lot since he's come back. All right, good stuff with Brady. We talked a little golf, NFL football. We're getting some college football when Babano joins us. Paul Bovie steps up and in right now. Paul, how you doing tonight? Good to see you. Let's talk some NFL football.
Let's talk some NFL. Let's get it going. I did not have a great week on Sunday, courtesy of the New York Giants. But look, it's a long season. Daniel Jones getting away from home, I think that's going to help him. They tormented this guy leaving the stadium, poor guy.
Oh, poor guy. I know him and his $40 million a year.
I cried for Daniel Jones. You're right, Gabe. It was a softness. Like, oh, they're being hard.
New York's getting soft, man, when people think they got
harder. Yes.
When I saw the media, Daniel Jones, harassed, and Giant fans crossed the line, I said worst Eli Manning after an Eagle game once in that parking lot. Like, dude, like people, and he won 2 Super Bowls, and people were like really like over the top. Like, so people are getting soft with Daniel Jones. But all right, so you're going back to the well with the Giants this week against the Commanders. Then they are 8-2 against them in their last 10 games. They always beat Washington.
I had a Giant shirt on Sunday. I was ready to actually light it on fire and shred it. I've had it for 14 years. I don't like to throw out T-shirts. But anyway, I vowed never to bet another Giants or Knicks game straight up. Future's okay. But that lasted about 48 hours. So I'm going to be back on the Giants this week.
Of course you are. I know you, Paul.
That's the Commanders this week. Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins tomorrow night. We just spent a little time talking about it with Brady, but Taron Johnson's not a household name, but he is the starting defensive back for the Buffalo Bills, and now he's out. And that secondary is already thin, young, sort of stretched to begin with coming into the season, so that's not ideal when you're facing Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But on the plus side, the Bills' defense in the second half of that game and the D-line, listen, Kyler Murray's not an easy quarterback to track down, right? They were getting into the backfield. He was dodging in them, and he was doing his thing early. Russo had a really good game. So the D-line of the Buffalo Bills was a strength. It isn't being talked about enough, I think. Miami weren't great against Jacksonville, Paul. You have a division rivalry here. And Buffalo, I brought it up earlier, man, Josh Allen, 11-1 last 12 games against the Miami Dolphins. And for you prop players out there, he's thrown 2 or more touchdown passes in all 12 of those football games. 13 straight games, actually, he's thrown 2 or more touchdown passes against the Miami Dolphins. What's your feel about this game, Paul? Because it feels like an over, but Thursday night division games generally are not very good games, but we're so early in the season right now. So there's a lot of balls in the air here. What do you think about it?
First of all, Taron Johnson is a loss. He did go out very early. I'm not sure if he went out, came back in the game, but he did go out on the first drive. So they were able to survive the injury. And what a lot of people don't realize is Arizona, only 2 completions to the wideouts for 9 yards. Everything went to the tight ends. At some point during the game, they were using 3 tight end sets, Arizona was. So they did a pretty good job handcuffing Kyler Murray in terms of getting the ball down the field.
And shut Marvin Harrison down as well, just to bring up. I know it was his first game, but nevertheless, They kept going to McBride over and over.
He did have a drop. He did have a drop early on. Then he went right back to him, caught a pass for 4 yards. I guess that made him feel good after the 4-yard catch because he never went back to him. But anyway, on to the Buffalo Bills. I think that Josh Allen, and I think we all know this, is going to try to play some hero ball. They're going to try to run James Cook as much as they can. They want to control the clock. Miami had an unspectacular game on Sunday. They had 2 receivers over 100 yards, but they could not get off in terms of running the football. So I don't know. I'm probably going to take a pass on the game. You make a good point. Buffalo has owned this team. But, of course, the rosters have been tinkered with somewhat. And Buffalo down there, a key defensive back against a strong passing attack of the Miami Dolphins. I'm just going to take a step back.
Cam, what's your pick for the Dolphins and Bills?
I like the Bills, dude. It's a very difficult game. I think they'll find a way. I think in a tight game, Allen will find a way to get it done. I also, Gabe, I agree with your prop with Coleman. I'll tell you another thing. I think Kincaid, like they talk about spreading the ball around. He had one catch. This guy's one of the best tight ends in the league. I think he's going to actually show up this week and do some serious damage. I think they could have some mismatches with him. Knox is good too. They got double tight end sets. I like the Bills in a very close game, but Paul's right. This is a very difficult game. Buffalo owns them, but Gabe, I don't want to sound like a coward too, but teasing Buffalo to the over, getting these guys over 8.5, 9, and then going over 41.5 makes sense to me. But you said it. Sometimes these Thursday night games could be lower scoring than we thought.
I do believe that the Buffalo Bills catch a break. I've talked about it, that the fact that this game is at nighttime, they have struggled with the heat in the past. The one game that they've lost in like the last 6 years to them was like 112 degrees. I remember the game. It was in 2022. And even that game, if you guys recall, it was like 2018, 21-19 or something. And Josh Allen, I think he fumbled the ball on the 1 yard line. It was one of those sort of Josh had like couple of weird turnovers in the game. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, still beat him. But no doubt the Dolphins are getting sick of losing to the Bills.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Talking NFL football with Paul Bovie right now. Sirius XM Channel 159, SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. Deshaun Watson had one of the worst performances in the history of the National Football League last week. It's not really, people know, that he struggled, but I don't think people realize just how bad it actually was. And it was bad. And in fact, like, he set records. It was one of the most ineffective performances ever as far as throwing the football down the field is concerned. And now there's more allegations and this and that, and it just never ends right now. So now they get the Jacksonville Jaguars. So as I said, Deshaun Watson was 0 for 10 passing when he threw the ball 15 or more yards through the air. It was the worst 0-4 by any quarterback in a game since 2006 when air yards were first tracked. So, Paul, you had a serious problem throwing the ball down the field. You don't want to overreact, right? It's one game, 1 week. It's a long season. But here we go again. You know, the Browns are taking on the Jacksonville Jags this week. And what do you think? What do you expect from this Cleveland Brown offense this week on the road against the Jags, whose defense is very good?
I'm patting myself on the back a little bit because I had an over bet on the Browns at 8.5 wins. And about an hour before the game, and it was a sizable one. I think I gave it out on the show. And an hour before the game, I noted that those 2 tackles were out for Cleveland. And one of the things I've always cited about the Browns was the strength of the offensive line. And without that offensive line, you don't have your lead running back. I just didn't think things were going to be in harmony, and they were not. And I'm not going to put the entire blame. And what I was meant to say was I voided the entire wager. I played the under to offset it. And obviously I'm in a better position than I would be if I had left it there and relied on hope. But it's not all Deshaun Watson's fault. He was hit 17 times by the Cowboys and sacked 6 times. He just had no time to throw the football. And without time to throw the football, he hasn't been good as it is. And then you're asking him to do more than he's expected as he tries to get back to form that he had 3 years ago or 2, whenever he played last. So I just think that they're going to have a lot of trouble because if they can't run the ball, and Miami was unable to run the ball against Jacksonville, they're going to struggle because certainly they don't have the dynamic passing attack that the Dolphins do. So I think they're going to have a hard time putting points on the board. So I do believe that this is an under game. Now, on the other side, Dallas really didn't do too much on offense. I mean, Dak Prescott, I think they had a lot of short fields.
Yeah, they had a lot of short fields after the turnovers.
He had 179 yards passing and I believe 17 completions. And if you back out the 31 and the 24-yard completions, the guy threw like 30 passes and had 120 yards. And in terms of running the football, 25 carries for 100 yards. So I don't have a lot of faith, by the way, in that Cowboy offense, but that's another topic. But I do have some faith in the Browns defense. I at this point, that is the heart and soul of their football team. So under 43 looked good. Under 41.5 looks okay. Not as good as 43, but I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
You got a good number at 43. Now it is 41.5. So you talked about the Dallas Cowboys, and you weren't overly impressed with Dak Prescott and the offense. And what are your thoughts on this football game against the New Orleans Saints this week?
Look, Derek Carr didn't have a lot of pressure on Sunday. So this is going to be a different test because you do know that the Dallas Cowboys are going to put pressure on the quarterback. And as I said, 17 hits, 6 sacks with Deshaun Watson. So he's going to face a real pass rush. And he got away a few times with throwing the ball across his body, notably a touchdown to Foster Moreau in the end zone. And he better not try to pull that or it'll regress to the Derek Carr that we all know and don't like. But I think he'll take decent care of the football. And when you're taking 7 points against the Cowboy offense that I really don't have any faith in, their running game is, in my opinion, below average. I don't understand the Ezekiel Elliott signing.
All right, we'll hit this more on the other side.
4 points.
A lot of people don't understand Jerry Jones.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We're kicking it with Paul Bovie, Cam Stewart in the house. Paul, we talked to some Survivor earlier with Brady Cannon. 34% of the entries went down with the Bengals. 24% were on the Seahawks. Denver were up early. I was hoping for the upset. I was surprised as many people took the Saints as they did. I think it was like 16, 17% took the Saints against the Panthers. 12% I know was on the Bills because I was one of the 12% on the Buffalo Bills. And my reasoning, Paul, was the Bills' schedule is really hard. They don't have a lot. They don't really have any sort of, oh, yeah, that's a stone cold lock. Not that anything is, but they play the Patriots twice in the last 3 weeks of the season. And maybe the Patriots aren't as bad as people think they are as well. And I can't worry, Paul, about week 17, bro, saving teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be reckless and just lose all the good teams, but at the same point in time, so Dallas Cowboys. I assume a lot of people are going to be on the Dallas Cowboys, Paul, and you're going to be on the Saints plus the points. So I'm assuming you're going to be hoping for the upset here.
Well, I will probably stay with my +7, which right now is a favorable number, but there is some concern. Lattimore might be out. What's his name?
It's a big loss if he is. He's their best DB.
Yeah, and Tyrann Mathieu. Okay, 12-year vet.
Honey Badger.
What do they call him? Honey Badger. Honey Badger. He's also questionable. Now, if those two guys were to be out, I would probably back out of the wager and just lay the number and void it. But I think with a healthy lineup, certainly the Saints can stay in this football game because I don't expect Dallas to put up in the high 20s. I just don't think they have that offense. They lost several players on the offensive line, and I think that's going to hurt. They really don't have great receivers outside of CeeDee Lamb. And as I mentioned, the running game is certainly average at best, but I would say below average. So I don't expect a whole lot out of the Dallas Cowboys, and this line might be pumped up because of Cleveland's futility more than anything else.
What do you think of the Patriots game against the Seahawks? So the Patriots obviously stunned everybody with their performance in week 1, but the Patriots defense is good. right? I mean, you can talk about their offense and the lack of talent and skill position players that they have, but their defense is an elite defense. They were number one in the NFL last year, points allowed in the second half, right? So, and Mayo, they love Mayo. They love the shift from Belichick. It's a different atmosphere with a football team. The players are buying in to it. And now they open up at home. And Foxborough's never been an easy place to play. What's your confidence level in Seattle Seahawks going on the road and playing an early start time, 1 o'clock Eastern game, which they historically do struggle in these early games on the East Coast?
The Patriots came in the season. They were supposed to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. And maybe now they're getting a little more credit than they deserve because let's face it, Stevenson had a free roll against the Bengals defense. I mean, I had over 50.5. It wasn't a great Sunday for me, but that was the easiest prop I cashed because he just ran right through the teeth of the defense. They're clearly going to miss DJ Reader, who was their lead run stopper, and they better do something because that run defense is awfully leaky, and if they expect it to win the division, they're going to have to do a little bit more than that. So, obviously, he's not going to have that kind of success against Mike McDonald's defense. And I could envision a low-scoring game, but it's not one that I'm going to be on because, as you pointed out, Seattle did not look great early on against the Broncos. And a lot of that credit to that win has to go to Bo Nix being in a situation which is very difficult for his first outing, that being on the road in a hostile environment. Yeah, and he did his best, but he really didn't show up, nor did the running game at all.
Cam, the Seattle Seahawks are 2-5, their last 7 1 o'clock East Coast time games on the road.
Yeah, they did beat Detroit, though, in a 1 o'clock game last year. That was a fantastic performance, and then also got slaughtered by Baltimore. They have been playing a little bit better, but here's the deal, Gabe. This defense, I think, is going to be very, very solid as the year progresses. Kenneth Walker, if healthy, I know he's got an abdomen problem. He absolutely ran wild against Denver. Like, this guy's an absolute machine. He's breaking 3 tackles. Your boy Charbonnet, he looked good in the game, too. Seattle's got a lot of weapons, and you know, one thing, Jacoby Brissett can kind of dink and dunk. I think it's going to be very close to the number where New England hangs around and Seattle just covers in the end of the game. I think the Seahawks will win this game by like a touchdown. But, it's not going to be easy for Seattle. The Patriots' defense is very good, as you mentioned. But I think Seattle gets the cover.
I do think it's a low-scoring game. The odds makers agree. The total's 38.5 right now. And I see it's up to 3.5, which is enough to make me definitely interested in the New England Patriots. Now with this with the live move at 3.5. All right, Paul, before we get you out of here, any other games on the card? You got San Francisco. It's an interesting one, actually. Sam Darnold, and I predicted that Sam Darnold was going to go back to MetLife and just pick those guys apart. And I knew, especially after the Saquon Barkley stuff, that I said on the Friday night, I said, this is just the beginning of a horrible weekend for the Giants. But now you get the Vikings going back home. They get San Francisco off a Monday nighter. Tough spot for teams off a Monday nighter going on the road. Christian McCaffrey's not going to play in this game, right? You know, he's more hurt than they let on. So word is he's not going to be playing in this game either. 5.5 points. I think it's too high, Paul. I know it's come down a little bit. It was 6, but what do you think about this game? Niners and Vikings.
Look, I'll put a caveat on this, and that's not the way you win wagers, but Sam Darnold exceeded expectation on Sunday. All right, the passes he was throwing, they were lasers, they were spot on. That's not the Sam Darnold we all know for the last 6 years or however long he's been in the NFL. So if he were to play to that level, I would say the Vikings are a great play, but I just cannot bank on that. So I'm not going to be on the game, I could assure you, but I will say this, the 49ers looked, and they also exceeded expectations. Offensively, they looked just like they did last year. I mean, Brock Purdy, people expected Brock Purdy to come in and perhaps, all right, maybe he'll, whatever, maybe he'll he'll have a bad game against the Jets defense. But no, Brock Purdy was spot on. He put the ball where it needed to be, and San Francisco ran away with it.
Cincinnati, you played Kansas City tough. KC, you're laying 5.5. We'll see if Cincinnati's able to bounce back. We brought up an intriguing game. The Bucs getting 7.5 right now against the Detroit Lions. I personally think that's too many points. Nakua's out for the Rams. The Rams are dominant. I think they're 9-0 the last 9 games against Arizona. But, you know, I thought Arizona showed quite a bit last week at Buffalo. What do you think about some of these games, Paul? We got about a minute here or so. What do you think on the way out here, some of these other NFL games?
Let me hit the Giants because I think this will benefit them to be on the road. 24-30 Baker Mayfield went on Sunday, and there were 2 passes he missed to McMillan and 1 in the end zone that would have been a touchdown if the defender didn't grab him. So I think the Giants will score points. The road benefits them. As far as Tampa, they look really sharp. Mike Evans stepped up again. Godwin stepped up. And I think they're in a good spot to cover what is now a 7-point number and possibly 7.5, depending on where you look. So I would take the Bucs here. They look good, but I'm going to look at their secondary because they do have some injuries going on right now, and that's going to be critical as to how this game plays out.
Paul Bovie, the great Paul Bovie. Awesome stuff as always, Paul. Thanks for the time.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Well, I don't bet a lot of overs, but when I do, I like to win them, and we did tonight. The Cubs and Dodgers have already gone over 9 runs, and we're only in the bottom of the 3rd inning right now. 7-3 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ohtani's just murdering it. I mean, the guy's just, it's one hit after another. He's already got a home run. He's got a stolen base. Like, he might get to 50-50 tonight. I needed a hit for Mookie Betts, though. We got Mookie Betts. We already hit the Ohtani home run prop. We hit the over 1.5 total bases with Ohtani. We hit the over in the game. We're on the Dodgers. Now on the way out, we got 2 more live plays going on. I need Freddie Freeman over 1.5 total bases and Mookie Betts over 1.5 total bases. Let's try to rock this thing. Paul Bovie on the way out left us with a college bonus pick. He goes, we ran out of time. I wanted to talk about the Virginia Cavaliers and Maryland. Paul's on Virginia, so he wanted to share that Paul is on the Virginia Cavaliers. Let's bring in Ian Cameron, talk some college football and more. But Battle, good to see you tonight. How you doing?
I'm right there with you, Gabe, with that over with the Cubs-Dodgers. Nice to see that. You know what? The 2 late bets for me are Cubs-Dodgers over and Giants minus 135, taking the surging Blake Snell, who's been in great form. Yeah. I don't think we can ask for things to be going any better than they are right now.
Great call.
Yeah, they're rolling. San Francisco rolling tonight. I lost. I took the under of that game, and San Francisco exploded early, so that's a loss for me. But I'm on Seattle to win the game against San Diego as well. They're winning 3-0 right now, and I got the under 7 in this game. So it's the bottom of the 6, 3-0. They do have runners on first and second right now with nobody out. So there's your baseball update. So, we'll get to the NFL game, but we've got a fun college football game tomorrow night, guys, with Arizona State, an Arizona State football team that nobody expected to be 2-0 right now. They opened up with a big win against Wyoming. And last week, they beat an SEC team in Mississippi State. They were up big. They nearly blew the lead, but they didn't. But you want to talk about a short week, guys. You play Saturday night, late night game, right? So as late as possible. Now you're playing on Thursday night, right? They're not a pro team. So they basically had like one practice. Now, and it's not the easiest place to get to go to San Marcos here. So from what I understand, their practice was like basically they had a walkthrough, a film session, and one practice for this football game. And now they're playing tomorrow night. And his Texas State team, Babano, very impressive, coming off that, hammer job over a pretty good UTSA football team. We all know about Kenny and this guy. He likes to run that up-tempo offense. He's got the quarterback that transferred over from James Madison, was it McLeod? So they've got some talent, this football team. My only deal is, guys, we've seen this before. When you get these sort of new programs that get super fired up, Abano, for their, prime time game. You know what I mean? Oh, we're on national television. We're 2-0, and we're playing a big-time school in Arizona State. It can backfire sometimes. What are your thoughts on this game tomorrow night?
Yeah, these are, actually, Arizona State, you said surprised that they're 2-0. They were favored in both games with the Mississippi State and Wyoming, but they were also games they could have lost. I mean, it wouldn't have been shocking if Arizona State loses to Wyoming. It wouldn't have been shocking if Arizona State loses to Mississippi.
And then we're talking about a 3-9 football team last year, right? That's the thing. So, you know what I mean? They've already won 2 games, yeah.
No, they've been impressive, Gabe. Sam Levitt, this transfer they got from Michigan State at quarterback's been very good. Scadaboo, I think, is one of the more underrated running backs in college football for ASU. Yeah, he
Great
can run
name,
the football.
Too. Scadaboo.
Yeah, for a running back.
It's perfect, Gabe. Great running back name. Yeah, perfect.
And their defense has been good. I mean, they shut down Wyoming. Wyoming's been pretty bad. They're clearly much worse than I ever thought. The way they've started, but still they shut down Wyoming. They kept Blake Shapen and Mississippi State's offense in check for 3 quarters. So they've looked great. And Kenny Dillingham is getting this team really gradually improving. But Texas State going to San Marcos is no joke. And G.J. Kinney, their head coach, it's only a matter of when he gets a Power 4 job. He's going to be a Power 4 head coach at some point. He's going to get an opportunity. He's been that good of a coach here at Texas State. He's done a great job. He brought in Jordan McLeod as transfer quarterback. They've loaded on the offensive line. They got great skill position talent. The one question, Gabe, I had about Texas State was their defense, which last year was not very good. This year it looks a lot better. Look, they shut down Owen McCown and at UTSA on offense last week. 10 points. It was a terrific showing. This is 2 teams that have played well. 2 teams, especially ASU, playing better than I expected. But I think it's a bigger deal for Texas State. I think if Texas State wins this and they win the Sun Belt, which I think they have a chance to do, they'll have a playoff resume or a case to at least make the 12-team playoff as one of the group of 5 teams. So it's a huge opportunity here for Texas State. And while I'm not rushing to fade ASU, they've looked so good going on the road for the first time. A very good Texas State team. I think this team is better than a lot of people think for a group of 5 team. I actually kind of agree with the money. If I'm playing this game, I agree with the Texas State side. I think they can get it done here.
the home field advantage, the short week is a really tough spot, in my opinion, for Arizona State. Plus their first road game of the year as well. That should be noted. And the total, I think there's going to be points. I think, Arizona State will be able to put some points up on the board. And I think Texas State are going to want to run as many plays as they possibly can, as they used to at Incarnate Word. And now he loves that up-tempo stuff, right? And it's working for them. 3-0 in the baseball game still. So, Babetta, you mentioned that they got their eye on the playoffs. That's one cool thing about this 12-team playoff. Teams like Texas State, UTSA was actually the favorite to come out of this before, right? But these teams actually have a puncher's chance. And another team that's talking playoffs, and it would have been laughable years ago, the UNLV Running Rebels, right? So, thing is, Boise State's loss to Oregon, Cam and Babetta, that was so impressive. Like, they were supposed to lose. Like, put it this way, Boise State run the table now and win out. They're going to get in. Like, they're going to, that'll be more impressive than Liberty being 12-0, whatever, with their soft cupcakes. But you just talked about battle. The Sun Belt stuff will be cool, but Boise's resume will be better, right? Yeah. But UNLV have a chance to do something about this. And another monster game, UNLV. If they want to make the playoffs, UNLV, you need to beat Kansas on the road. I was very impressed in week one. Houston, I get it. They're not a powerhouse, but still, for UNLV to go on the road into Houston and just beat the crap out of a Willie Fritz coach team like that, they got the pedal to the metal, this Rebel team right now.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the Pistol Players, the Hustlers, the people who bust them, and everybody else in between. Sirius XM channel 159. So, man, the Dodgers and the Cubs, really high scoring as expected. It's nice to cash the over that early. Middle of the fourth inning right now. It is 7-3 for the Dodgers, 5-0 for Seattle in the bottom of the sixth inning. They've blown this game open. The Giants are murdering the Brew Crew 10-1 right now. Ian Cameron with us, Cam Stewart in the house. We're talking college football right now. So, UNLV are getting 7.5 points. That's enough to interest me, actually. I know this Kansas team is a good football team. They have, a great quarterback. They're coming off a tough game. That's a very physical Illinois football team. So this is a short week for them as well after playing against a physical Big Ten team in Illinois. UNLV had pretty much a cakewalk scrimmage last week at home. They've already shown an ability that they can play on the road. They went into Houston, and they, first game of the year, and they were lighting it up. For people who don't know, UNLV have really, 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 really good wide receivers. Like, it's crazy to say that they've got these stud skill position players, but they do, right? Like, their wide receivers are really good and lots of yards after the catch, very explosive, fast players. Odom's really building something here. The total, to me, guys, I don't want to be cliche, but I like the over tomorrow night and Thursday. This game, and UNLV and Kansas, guys, the total is 58.5. I think that's too light. I think this game is going to be a fun track meet. I'm leaning with the Rebels plus 7.5, and I will take the over, Babano, here.
So I like the over more than the side in that game. I think the over is probably the better play because I worry about UNLV's defense a little bit against Kansas. Jalen Daniels did not play the typical Jalen Daniels game against Illinois. It's one of the worst games I've seen him play since he's been the starter there. Multiple interceptions.
He's playing against a real defense.
Yeah, and that's the one,
he's in the Big Ten, and it's different.
Exactly. The one concern is UNLV's defense because last year it wasn't great. They haven't been tested yet. I mean, the Houston offense is very weak this year. They played Utah Tech last week. Now they're playing a very competent offense, a very good one on the road. Devin Neal can run the ball. They've still got playmakers at receiver, the Jayhawks. This will really test UNLV's defense here. UNLV's offense, look, I don't know how good he can throw the football, Matthew Sluka. I think he's still a work in progress throwing the ball. He's a very good runner. He's athletic. But I think as far as accuracy in the pocket, there's still a lot of room for improvement based on what I've seen. So that'll be put to the test here against Kansas. But there's no denying how good UNLV's been as an underdog under Barry Odom. Every regular season game last year that UNLV was an underdog, they covered the numbers. So I do lean UNLV. I have a small play on them. I don't like that Kansas is off a loss and back home. They've been good at home, and they're going to be, I think, focused on this game coming off the Illinois loss. So it's a small play for me on UNLV only. I like the over more as far as the total in this game.
The defense, guys, like I know Houston's bad, Gabe, but they went on the road and only gave up a touchdown. Like they're getting better.
Yeah, I was surprising.
Like that's the thing. Like you got to expect the Cougars to score more.
Dude, they can play with Kansas.
UNLV.
Yes, they can play with Kansas.
Yes, they can. I agree with you, Gabe.
To me, it'll be a track meet, and they'll just be trading points back and forth. It'll be an exciting game that comes down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, you want to give me 7 in the hook? I'll be riding the Rebels too with you, Gabe. I'm with you. Let's do it.
And then you got we got all kinds of like weird little twists here with Arizona State, Arizona, Kansas State, UNLV. So now we get Arizona. The Wildcats are at Kansas State.
Wildcats versus Wildcats. Yep.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Wildcats versus Wildcats. So one thing about the Wildcats is they still have their quarterback. They have a new coach, but they still have their quarterback. They still have their offense in place here. And, of course, you got Avery Johnson, a quarterback for Kansas State, who is a very dynamic player. Fun football game here. We have another 7-point point spread. Total 59.5. You talk about tough places to play. The Little Apple is one of the toughest places to play in college football. It really is. It's in the middle of freaking nowhere. They have nothing else there. It's over the top, like hard, like loud. We've seen it before, this team. But K-State's role, guys, is always generally you want them as an underdog, right? It's a little different when you're laying a touchdown with them. Babano, what are your thoughts on that football game? Arizona and K-State on Friday night.
Dating back to last year, they're now just 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games, Kansas State. So, and a lot of those losses have been as favorites, bigger favorites. It feels like a good – now, Kansas State got away with one against Tulane last week because I thought Tulane gave them all kinds of problems. I'm worried about Kansas State's defense. Tulane at the line of scrimmage, especially with Tulane's offensive line, they dominated. They opened up holes for the run game. Mensa looked good. It's concerning.
Oh, hit this some more on the other side. Let's roll.
going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So earlier in the day, Bowden Francis of the Toronto Blue Jays took a no-hitter into the 9th inning for the second time in his last 4 starts. He's only the 4th Major League Baseball pitcher in history to actually lose 2 no-hitters in the 9th inning in the same season. I didn't bring it up. I didn't want to be the mush. And I knew there was a no-hitter, but I didn't realize it was a perfect game going for Wu. Wu had a perfect game going into the 7th inning, but he just gave up a home run to Fernando Tatis Jr. So it's now 5-1 for Seattle, but an incredible, what a day of pitching today. You'll often see no-hitters late in the season. You get them early in the season and sort of late in the season. Sometimes the lineups are depleted. Players are tired. You know, it's just all sort of like different variables why it happens, but I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody else step up with a no-hitter in the next couple of days here, as we've seen. Perfect game into the 7th. There's been a few of them, too. Recently. So it's 5-1 in this baseball game. So I want to get some NFL football, CFL, but as long as we're talking college right now. See, me personally, I do like UNLV plus the points to the over. I think it's a track meet on Thursday night. I think it's a track meet in this game. Arizona and K-State, I think Arizona could have a problem playing here. As I stated earlier, it's a tough place to play. Arizona have a great quarterback. You know, they do. This kid's a freaking stud. They're going to put some points on the board. It sounds cliche that we're just going to take another over here, but I think they can get over 59.5. 2 very dynamic quarterbacks, but I think it's going to be a tough spot for Arizona on the road in Manhattan. You got Alabama are laying 16 now at Wisconsin. We hit this game a little bit last night. The total's 49.5 here. I like the over again. I think it's too light. I know Bama's last game didn't go over the number. They were kind of slow early. USF, for whatever reason, slowed them down a little bit. They ended up with 42. It ended up losing by 6 points. But Bama's offense is very good. And this isn't the same Wisconsin power team from before. I think Wisconsin are going to get murdered here, actually. I'm expecting, I don't know about you guys, but I think Bama are going to go in there, and Wisconsin won't be able to keep up offensively. Dude, they got Jack Del Rio as an assistant coach. Like, come on. Like, it's 2024 here. Like, really? Like, they're just their quarterback. Van Dyke comes over from Miami, so they got the good quarterback, but their offense is kind of whatever. You know what I mean? They haven't looked great this year, Wisconsin. Alabama are just going to be too fast for them. I don't care that it's on the road, Babano.
See, I don't love the over in this game. I'm worried about Wisconsin's offense working. I don't think it's going to work. I'm not a Tyler Van Dyke fan. I've never been a Tyler Van Dyke fan. Look at the Wisconsin offense in the first 2 games of the season against Western Michigan and South Dakota, which don't hold a candle to Alabama.
Well, it was a battle for both. Both games were battles.
Yes. And the offense didn't work. They went 3 and out several times in both games. And now we're going to trust the offense to move against Alabama's defense. Now, I know Alabama's offense didn't look great last week against South, but South Florida's a damn good football team this year. Alex Golesh has that program on the improve. They are going to be a factor, I think, in the AAC this year. Now, obviously, it wasn't Alabama's best performance, but I think you're going to see Jalen Milroe and that offense look a lot better here. I don't think Wisconsin's used to some of that beef they're going to have to deal with on the offensive line here from Alabama. The playmakers and the speed on the offensive skill positions that Alabama has. I lay the points here with Alabama. I don't mind doing it. I don't lay road points of double digits very often, but I think this gets away. I see something along the lines of 28-10, 31-10 here for Alabama.
Cam, what's your pick for the Apple Cup? Washington State are getting 4.5. Should be noted this game is actually on a neutral field. So they're playing in Seattle, obviously. So they're playing at the home. They're playing at Lumen Field, the home of the Seattle Seahawks this game. So if people see Washington listed, not all books put the neutral site next to it. It's not a home game for the Washington Huskies, but the Huskies are laying 4.5 points in this game. Total's 56. And this is a fun game in the sense that it's massive for both programs. And you got Washington State. Then Washington screwed over and didn't tell that they were leaving. Like, you know what I mean? And, like if you're Oregon State, same thing. Like, Oregon, they got left behind. Nobody wanted them. They were just abandoned, basically. It was like, we don't want you. We don't care about you. You're not important enough to join us. And the Mountain West doesn't even want to, deal with them. So they've got a big chip on their shoulder, Washington State. It would be a massive win to beat Washington in their first, non-Pac-12 game against each other. And then you get Judd Fish on the other side. That Judd Fish, this guy needs, this would be a big-time win for him, right? He's new there. They went to the championship game last year. You got to beat your rivals, point blank. And it's a big rivalry. So it's Fish's first opportunity to win a big rivalry game and make the Husky Nation happy early in the season. Big-time game here. Washington lay 4.5. What's your pick, Kim?
We had Loud on last night, Gabe. I'm going to tell you something. I've watched both Washington games, and sure, the defense looks okay, but the offense is not prolific after losing Penix and Odunze. Like they've lost a lot of guys. And I'm going to tell you, Washington State's really impressed me. The win over Texas Tech, they blew them out. I know Portland State's Portland State, but they won the game by 40 points, and they put up 70. I'm actually, in this game, I see more defense, and I agreed with our guest, Gabe. That total's too high, in my opinion. I don't think Washington can score at will the way they used to, and their defense will hold Washington State in check. I like the under, and I like the underdog in the Cougars in this game. I think it's going to be real close. I would not be shocked if the Cougars won this game, but we will see. I like the under a lot.
Babano, what's your pick for the Apple Cup?
Yeah, I lean dog too. And Will Rogers is an experienced quarterback. Over from Mississippi State, but he's kind of going from a different system, air raid, to something a little different here in Washington. The offense is not fully in sync. They struggled at times to separate from Eastern Michigan last week at home, this Washington offense. So I'm not convinced they move the football up and down here against Washington State. Washington State, look, they're not facing Texas Tech and Portland State. It's going to be a tougher time for their offense as well. But I like their quarterback, this John Mateer kid. He can run. I'm surprised to see how athletic and mobile he is. His running ability carved up Texas Tech late Saturday night in the Palouse. Throwing the ball is still a work in progress for him, but I didn't expect him to be that athletic. He is. That could be trouble for Washington. Washington does have a good front. They can get after the quarterback, and with a guy that can escape the pocket like Mateer, that's probably good news for Washington State. So I think it's a close game. Don't forget, they gave Washington a Michael Penix, Kalen DeBoer Washington team everything they could handle last year, Washington State in the Apple Cup. And this is a worse Washington team. So I think Washington State's live here as well.
It should be noted the Washington Huskies have beaten the Cougars 9 out of the last 10 times that they've played.
But only beat them by 3 last year. Yep.
Yeah, they beat them by 18 the year before that. And they beat them by 18, 13, 27, 45-17, 45-10. And Washington State's defense is all new. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're kind of undermanned. I personally think Washington, it won't be pretty. I agree with you. Estimate Washington a bit, actually. Like, they have a lot of talent. Fish is a really, really good coach. And like I said, I don't see him losing this first statement rivalry game. I don't think Washington State will get worn out personally. I like the spread. It's kind of light, in my opinion, at 4.5.
Well,
and you're right. Last week it wasn't pretty against Eastern Michigan, but it was 31-6, right, with 2 minutes left. Eastern Michigan kicked that late field goal for the cover.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, SiriusXM Channel 159. Tomorrow night we'll be on at 8 o'clock. I guess 8:14. No, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Even I'm confused now with the different start times of these games. But the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins tomorrow night. So we'll be kicking it live during that game tomorrow night. All right, so we'll get into the NFL, CFL. We'll wrap up the college. We can go on and on. The Apple Cup is 4.5. Yeah, like I said, I understand why you guys could see it as a lower scoring game because I don't think Washington State are going to have a hard time moving the ball on Washington on that defense. And Washington's offense isn't explosive anymore. It's a work in progress, but they can still pound the rock. They still have a good offensive line. Like I said, Washington are still a good football team. You got the Civil War, guys. That game actually is in Corvallis. So there is a home, and that's we know they have a home field advantage there. And in a similar situation, they already hate the freaking Ducks with a passion as it is, right? So now it's even like deeper now. So, and this Duck team are good, but they're overvalued, right? People like, oh, Dylan Gabriel's going to win the Heisman. I don't know. Do you watch him play? He's not anywhere near like the top quarterback. Like he's good, but this team and landing for a defensive guy, you can move the ball. Like we saw Boise State just go up and down the field on them. Oregon State have looked good. They're not as prolific as Boise offensively, but they really haven't missed that much of a beat, surprisingly enough, to start the year. I know San Diego State aren't a great team, but it was a very smash mouth. They killed them last week on the road. A lot of points to be laying in the Civil War, guys. It's 16 and a half. It's coming down a little bit, actually. I'm seeing 16s now, but that's a tricky spot for the Oregon Ducks, Babano.
It is. Oregon has not played great in the first two games. I mean, the Idaho game was kind of lethargic. The offense, they moved the ball, and they just kept screwing up with turnovers on downs, turnovers, missed field goals. They did move the ball, but at the end of the day, they didn't put up points. The defense was good. And then in the Boise game, the offense did get going. They got a special teams touchdown. The defense struggled against Boise State in that offense and Ashton Genty. So they haven't played 4 great quarters. And Oregon State, I'll be honest, with Jonathan Smith gone, he took his quarterback, Aiden Childs, with him to Michigan State. And you think starting completely over here is Oregon State and Trent Bray. But credit to him. He slides into the head coaching spot as someone that was on Jonathan Smith's staff in Oregon State last year, and he's done a solid job. Oregon State has definitely exceeded my expectations in their first 2 games. Now, they've played weak competition. Idaho State and San Diego State is going to be a lot tougher now against Oregon, but they've given Oregon fits in Corvallis. Oregon has not played well enough in the first 2 games that has me convinced that they can cover a number like this on the road. So I'm kind of with Gabe here. Oregon State's the lean for me.
Me too in the over, but I'm going to say this, guys. Remember, this game is early in the season. We used to play this as the final game where it was sleet, fog, everything that helped an Oregon State Beaver team that wanted to muck it up. And Oregon, Gabe, as you know, have the athletes. So they're very lucky that you're going to get the conditions that are a lot better. I remember watching some Civil War games. You couldn't even see like the field with the fog, and it's a crazy place to play and stuff. So the Ducks are kind of lucky that this game's earlier on in the season, but it seems like a lot of points, Gabe. And we talked about the over. Should be points in this game.
The last college game. I brought it up last night a little bit, but here's the Georgia Bulldogs. The bigger point spread, it's 24. It sounds like a lot, but ask yourself, would you want Kentucky in this spot? Even if it's in Kentucky? Yeah, like even if it's in Kentucky. Yeah, exactly, Babano. But this Kentucky team, Georgia have a chip on their shoulder. Like they don't think they get enough respect. Right, even though they do, but they didn't make the playoffs last year. They're on a mission, this team, to just, like, F you up. Like, that's Georgia's, like, you know what I mean? They don't stop. Like, their defense is good and their offense is good. So it's like a combination of the mistakes just add up. Like, Clemson are a good team. And Clemson hung around with Georgia for a quarter and a half or whatever, but you just can't keep up with them. Right? It's just they're going to score and they're going to get stops, and the math doesn't add up at the end of the day. I think they're going to murder Kentucky, but let's get to the Thursday night NFL.
Quickly about Georgia, Kentucky. I'm calling that quarterback Brock Van de Grifter because he swindled me out of money last week. That's how bad he was. Pathetic in that football game.
You got to throw it.
He's a grifter because you bet on him? He's a grifter like he stole money from you?
No, the worst was
the whole offense was brutal against a South Carolina team that wasn't very good the week before, barely escaping Old Dominion. I mean, that's concerning if you're Kentucky.
I don't know what quarter
you're like against Georgia. I don't.
Yeah,
you're like these trolls. Who was the college quarterback? I forget what school it was. I can look it up quickly.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, it was at Peyton Thorne, Auburn. Yeah. Peyton Thorne said, "Stop sending me messages wanting money from me because you lost your bet." People were sending him emails, Cam, with their PayPal address, saying, "I just lost $200. Pay me." Yeah. He didn't think it was too funny. He said, "F off. That's not my problem. You bet." Like,
exactly. Just shut up. Yeah. You want to bet? I remember that guy at Michigan State too. He used to like throw a lot of picks. I'm gonna tell you though, Gabe. What really bothered me though, that Kentucky, the earlier game where they called it a void bet, which I thought was very, very shady by the sports books because they were covering the number. And I talked to some other people that got paid and I didn't. And I was very, very frustrated with that. You guys know, was it versus Southern Miss? What was it, first game? Like, yeah, they voided my bet. It was a big bet too. Pissed me off. But anyway, I'm not going to bug Peyton Thorne. You're right. Georgia's going to murder them.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Auburn. Auburn just refused to get a good quarterback.
It's true.
So NFL tomorrow, a battle, Bills and Dolphins. A lot of our guests are scared of this game.
Yeah, that's
or
true.
There's different opinions. The total's 49. The Bills are getting 2.5. What are your thoughts on a Thursday nighter?
So Buffalo's 11-2 against Miami, the last 13. Miami was supposed to have the best team to challenge Buffalo last year, and Buffalo still beat them both times in the regular season. I'm not laying points with Miami here. Am I running to bet Buffalo with Josh Allen? Even though he's playing, he's fine. Apparently, he's going to be good to go after the injury. I'm worried when he does those helicopter spins, though, in midair, like he did in that touchdown he scored against Arizona. One of these days, it's going to come back to bite him.
He's fine. He's invincible.
Yeah, he's a monster.
He's got to take a little more care of himself than that, but my goodness. But thankfully for the Bills, he's going to play.
If he didn't do it, they don't win.
Exactly. Remember the John Elway in the Super Bowl? Just do it, man. Yeah, you get there.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Do it. Yeah, do it till you're satisfied. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Buffalo plus 2.5. Bills. I'll bet Bills. I'll bet the Bills at plus 2.5. It's not best bet material, but I'll take them. I lean over the total too. I know Thursday night games under. People love unders on these Thursday night games, but I would lean over.
49 only.
Yeah.
Yeah, both offenses are going to put points on the board.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I should have bet the in-game over earlier in this Dodger game. It's now 7-6. Unbelievable. It's now 7-6 in this game. Dodgers bullpen getting lit up, and the Cubs have the bases loaded right now. And the in-game total is 18.5. Except I was going to say I would be flipping out, but did they ever get a 5-run? No, they were never up by 5, were they?
No.
They were up 5-2 because I just thought, I was like, oh, I'm all right. I think I already won the bet because, we win our bet if you're up by 5 runs. For whatever reason, I was like, yeah, wasn't it 7-2? But no, it was 5-2. Then it was 5-3. And then it was 7-3. So they were up by 4. So now I do have to sweat this out. And now it's 7-7 in the 5th inning with 2 out. Man, I think I'm going to jump in on the in-game over here. It just keeps going.
Yes. Remember last night, too, Gabe,
18 and a half. There's still a lot
was
of
going
baseball.
under the whole time until the Dodgers bullpen comes in there. Here come the Cubs. Like, it's just like it's a nightly thing with these guys. Come on.
Every at-bat is a hit for both teams, it feels like, in this game. There's been 14 hits in the game, and we're only in the top of the 5th inning, guys. So, yeah, I'm going to get in on over 18.5, as crazy as that sounds. All right, listen, I got a couple of best bets I want to share before we get out of here for tomorrow's football game. I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills plus the points. So give me that 2.5. I'll buy the half point. I'll make it 3. But give me the Buffalo Bills plus the points. I do think it's going to go over. It's early in the season. I don't think that sort of Thursday night thing will take effect just quite yet. And quite frankly, I think both offenses are going to be able to move the ball on each other. So we're going to go with the over in the football game. Josh Allen, guys. Josh Allen has thrown 2 or more touchdown passes against the Miami Dolphins in 13 straight games, which is pretty crazy. And it's plus money too. It's plus 100 to the over. So we're going to go Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdown passes. We'll also play Josh Allen to score a touchdown, of course. Dalton Kincaid he was blocking. He wasn't a big part of the offense, but I think this is going to be a different style of game here. And I expect Kincaid to have 5-6 catches in this football game. It's 4.5 receptions for Dalton Kincaid. And Keon Coleman, of course, played in Florida, going back home. He's from Louisiana, but, college homecoming, so to speak. So Keon Coleman, he looked good in his first game. And the Bills, you know what I mean? They don't really have a ton of wide receivers to throw to. They got Shakir, you got Samuel, but they're going to use They're going to use Coleman. Josh Allen trusts them deep down the field. And, he says, I just got to throw it up to this kid and he'll make plays. 44.5 receiving yards to the over. A lot more picks tomorrow for the game. But before we get out of here, we still got about 2 minutes. Babano, CFL football, quick take. Nate Rourke fires an arrow at Chad Kelly. Says the CFL is a disgrace for letting this guy play. Should be no. He's no role model. And now they go head-to-head on Friday night. I'd like to go to the game, but we're going to be on the air here. It's a Friday night game. BC Lions minus 4.5, total 52.5. Who you got, Babano?
Well, I'm going to lay it with BC. There's another game. It feels like I'm repeating myself, whether it's college or CFL. I'm on BC. I like the total, though, even more. I mean, over 52.5 seems like it should get there. I mean, you're talking about BC's offense looks like the BC offense now we kind of expected with Nathan Rourke coming back the last couple of weeks. They shredded Ottawa out there in Victoria. We saw what they did last week against Montreal, the defending champs in Montreal, 37 points. You know how good that offensive performance was? They scored 37, even though Rourke had 3 interceptions against Montreal, and they still scored 37 points against a great Montreal defense. That offense is back. I think Toronto can move the ball. And Chad Kelly, here's the stat. 10 interceptions in the last 4 games that Chad Kelly has started. The Argos 1-3 straight up, 0-4 against the spread in those games, dating back to the East Final last year. He's a turnover machine. He's treating the football like a hand grenade right now, Chad Kelly. So BC in the over for me.
And you know what, Cam? All these fans now, though, it's a little holier than now. I get it. Chad Kelly's back in the league, but you know what I mean? All these, no means no, you guys in Hamilton, no means no, all chanting. Like, what, you're all, you're all, feminists now? Like, you all care? I'd like to know what goes on in a lot of these fans' personal lives, Cam, that are all calling Chad Kelly out. You know what I mean?
You don't want to know the things that go beyond.
It's just all these dudes. No means no. It's I don't know if you guys really care, or you're just kind of making a joke of this, and you're trying to terrorize them for your football team, right?
And they hate the Argos. They'll look at any type of ammunition to throw them under the bus.
So I imagine the BC fans will take Nate Rourke's, message, and they're going to be all over him on Friday night.
Last week, too.
Yeah.
Right. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.